All right, good morning. We're here with Timo Vaittinen. Am I saying your name right?
Almost. Timo Vaittinen. Close enough. Yeah.
And you're from Finland, right?
Yes.
But right now
I'm
you're in
from
the Netherlands.
exactly. I'm here 1 year as an exchange student. Not in Amsterdam though, but some smaller city. But it's approximately 1 hour from Amsterdam. So
Have you spent much
it's
time in
rather
Amsterdam then?
small. It's rather small country. Yeah, I haven't been going to Amsterdam that much lately because the studies they just started and the amount of work is killing me at the moment. But I will do my best to go there as much as possible.
Fair enough. Okay, so how do you see the music scene differ from where you are in Finland to where you are in the Netherlands now?
Yeah, well, I grew up in eastern Finland in a very small town called Poulujärvi, which translates something like Knee Lake City. It's about 450 kilometers away from Helsinki, which is 280 miles, I think.
Okay.
It's approximately 5,000 inhabitants there, and there was like only classical music, like band stuff going around, and also folk music. So it was definitely more traditional rock band / heavy metal band focused. Even I was in a rock band playing guitar and taking lessons.
Okay.
But yeah.
When did you make the switch over to electronic dance music?
Yeah, the nearest city was approximately 42 kilometers away, and I wasn't introduced to clubbing and EDM until I was something like 15. I'm 21 years old now, and I got more curious about these new electronic tracks, which were very popular in early 2000. Darude had Sunstorm, and Bomfunk MC's Freestarter. They're Finnish.
Sure.
They made a big impact on me, but there wasn't really that big clubbing scene in the city where I went all the time, because in Finland the heart is definitely in Helsinki, and I think it's still in its baby steps. It's growing, but it's still in its baby steps. In fact, a while ago there was an article in a Finnish magazine about Paavo from Above and Beyond.
Yeah.
That he's extremely successful, but no one in Finland knows about him except clubbers and people who listen to electronic music. But he is not like a celebrity or anything, so
okay,
mainstream doesn't know about him.
Okay, well, and Super 8 and Tab, they're also Finnish, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember all those early Anjunabeat releases. I guess not that early, but like Helsinki Scorchin' and stuff. So
yes, exactly.
That's how Finland stands out in my mind for it. So then when you started making music, when was that? How long, what was the sort of spread between when you found out about electronic music and then when you started making music?
Yeah, I think I started around that time when I found out about the music, because I had a program called EJ. I think it was Hip Hop EJ or something like that.
Okay.
maybe someone knows that, but it's not actually like a sequencer. It's just you have ready-made samples and you put them together and you have a track. But that was the very first time when I was trying to make my own tracks. But then there was this Swedish guy called Bass Hunter. I don't know. Do you know about him?
Sounds pretty underground to me, man.
Oh, okay. Well, he had a huge hit called Botten Anna in I think it was like 2006, 2007, something like that.
Yeah. Was that before? That was before Dota. Was that before Dota? And then he made Dota afterwards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you know Dota.
Yeah.
Okay. It was. Then my friend said, like, yeah, he makes this track he made this track using this track program Fruity Loops or FL Studio, and then he found some video in which he explained briefly, okay, this is how you make a track, and I was like, whoa, this is completely different from this hip hop EJ where you just had samples to gather and then you just put them together, and this was so much more different. And I immediately downloaded it and started to try things out. And yeah, I think I've been now producing, I would say 5 years or something like that. But I started really get into it about a year ago. And I really started to put a lot of time and effort, and that's when I also bought some hardware, not much, but some of that.
Okay, so you really got into it about a year ago, and since then it seems like it's been pretty productive. I mean, you've got a handful of releases on Rotate and on Earth. How's that going?
Yeah, I got one EP released on Rotate Recordings, the British label. I actually made that song like a year ago, and it took like 1 year to get all of those remixers to finish their remix, and it was postponed like hell because I don't know why, but we had some remixers and then they just disappeared and they just didn't do anything, and yeah, there was a lot of waiting, but it was finally released April or something this spring. I don't even know, but it's nice to see your first release there and on iTunes and even on Spotify. It's nice, and I just recently, I haven't been in touch with them. I have something going on with other labels now.
Okay, well, cool. Is it Depth that you're talking about? The record?
Yes, Depth.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Now, is that the same record that you told me? I don't want to step on any toes here, but I remember that right after you signed a track, it was a couple of weeks past, and then we spoke, and you mentioned to me that you felt like maybe you were eager and that maybe you rushed it, and that maybe there shouldn't have been a rush. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, that's not the track I was talking about.
Okay, my apologies.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I regret that a bit because, but I think it was very, very good learning experience for me. But I was basically just a random producer, and I was uploading my stuff, what I produced, on SoundCloud. Okay. And then some guy, because I managed to get quite a lot of views, and apparently I was, I don't know, on the hot list of SoundCloud or something. And then just some random guy said the message like, yeah, I would like to release it. And at some point I knew nothing about the industry, and I just pretty much blindly signed it. And I wasn't really happy with the label because I pretty much found out that it's not professional at all. And at some point, the label got banned from SoundCloud from spamming, and I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. And then all the tracks, they disappeared from everywhere. They were on iTunes, they were on Beatport and so on, etc. But then they disappeared everywhere. So just imagine if the track was a huge success, how bad it would be. Luckily, in my opinion, the production quality was quite poor. Nowadays, it's anyway very, very easy to produce. I mean, to get your song out there if you really want, because there are a lot of small labels which sign anything. Mm-hmm. And I was at that point just focusing that I would get my songs out there, but eventually I found out that if your song is shit, it's never going to make any difference if it's on iTunes or Beatport if it doesn't sound good.
Right.
So
would that be advice that you'd give to producers now then?
Yeah.
Like no rush, you know?
Yes. Pick carefully your levels and don't rush it.
Sure.
And be brutally honest to yourself.
Sure.
That would be my advice.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's move on then. You said that you started picking up some gear, right? What's your current audio setup look like?
Yeah. Last year I finally invested to get a new MacBook Pro. It's a i7. It's very, very nice, 16 gigabytes of memory. It runs pretty well Ableton, and I have, for example, now I have like a project which has almost 100 channels, and yeah, it runs pretty pretty smoothly. I have also, here in the Netherlands, I have as my temporary MIDI keyboard, Korg Nano Key 2. It's very, very small, but it was compact and it was easy to take with me here.
Mm-hmm.
In Finland, I have like 49 key keyboard with me, but it was very hard when I moved here. How would I get that here to another country? And also as a sound card, I have Focusrite Scarlett i2.
Okay. Is there a piece of gear out of all of that you feel like is sort of most essential? I mean, I know you were pretty pumped up about getting your MacBook, but what do you feel like has made the biggest difference overall?
I think it's just honestly the computer that you're working on, like how smoothly it works, because it was very annoying when your CPU gets topped very early. Sure. I don't have that much gear.
Okay. Are you fluent on piano?
I used to take some lessons. I'm not that fluent, but something like that. I have a basic sense of melody and music theory. Okay. Because I took those guitar lessons, so it helps.
Cool. So when you sit down and you start a track, let's say you're going to start an original track. What are sort of the pieces that you use as your building blocks?
Yeah, every time I start a track, like everyone says in every interview, it depends. Mm-hmm. But what I do, I work with Ableton Live. I start jamming, and I put like maybe 8 bars or 16 bars, and I just browse through presets and samples, and I try to pick some sounds I like or some parts of the sounds I like, sometimes completely different what I usually have. And then I write down some basic chord progressions, or sometimes I just have a piano VST and I'm just playing something with that, and I slowly start to form a melody, but I try to get the basic idea, the beat, the hooks together. Sometimes it takes hours.
Sure.
Sometimes it happens in 2 minutes.
Sure. But, do you find that there's something that you work towards first? Like last week we spoke with Monoverse, and he says that he likes to start sort of with the breaks and with the pads and things like that. Do you find yourself starting with a certain section of the track in your arrangement, or?
Yeah, I quite often start with like the climax part because I produce trance, so right. I like to start with the breakdown as well.
Okay.
No, it depends, and sometimes with this, for example, this latest track which is not yet released, but with that track I start with the build-up part, and it was a different way of approach for that track, and it's a bit different than my other tracks, but I'm very, very satisfied with it because I tried something new, and in my opinion it worked. Okay.
Is it also in the uplifting trance vein?
Yeah, something like that. Okay. It's 136 BPM, so I guess it counts.
Okay, cool. Cool. Now for this latest remix on Unearthed, did you use a different technique to work on that, or did you use a similar process?
Yeah, with remixes, I've been offered them quite a lot, and I picked that one. I picked only that one because I refused many of those tracks, because when I hear them, some labels offer them to me and say, "Hey, do you want to remix this?" But if I don't feel the vibe, and if I don't feel the track like 100%, then I just feel like it's not worth doing it, because the end product, I will not like it at all. But with this track, with Mika, I was actually not even first. The label didn't even know me, but I'm friends with Mika, Mika Pelkonen, and I heard he sent me. I got this track signed. Have a listen, and I was like, whoa. I really liked the melody and ideas, and I just said, I will do a bootleg, and then I did the bootleg of that.
Yeah.
And then Mika said, like, okay, I will in fact just send it to the label and see what they think. And then they also said, yeah, we like this very much, and eventually it got signed. But
cool.
With remixes, I think it's easier to go with, because you have the stems, you have the idea, what is the core of the song, and around that you can try to be creative and add something extra.
Sure.
But I also started jamming, like picking up some nice beautiful sounds, some nice samples, modifying, maybe creating something on my own, maybe some effects, stuff like that. But it was quite quickly done, that one.
Okay.
I think that remix was completed, I think, in like 48 hours or something.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
The track that we're talking about right now, for those listening, it's called a Deso, and it's the Timo Vaittinen remix, and the original artist is Mika Pelkonen. Is that how you say
Pelkonen.
it? Okay, Pelkonen. Yeah. I'll put that in the description for those listening.
Go check that out.
So now, in working on this remix, or in working on your own original tracks, how do you and what are you listening for when you're nearing completion? Like, how do you determine, like, all right, this is done, or this is really starting to feel good? Is there something that you're listening for, or is there something that you're feeling? I mean, describe that.
Yes, I've started to be brutally honest with myself, and I keep referencing my track to some commercial release, which I think sounds awesome. And when you do that every day, first of all, you start to realize, oh my God, I'm so bad. And there is something missing, and there is something too much. There is something is missing. And then I try to analyze, like, okay, what is the factor? What is the thing that makes this commercial release stand out from my track?
Okay.
And I try to go through every channel and EQ them and get the levels correct. And of course, it's hard, because when you work on with your track for hours, and then hours and hours and hours, and then you reference it to some other release, and you realize, oh my God, this is so bad. Yeah. But I think everyone should do that. Okay. I think in the earlier stage, when I was producing earlier, I thought, like, yeah, this is finished, and I thought I lied to myself, like, yeah, this sounds great. But in reality, I hated it so much. I think when you can balance the fact that, okay, this is the best I can do for now, and then move on and keep referencing. And
when you say this is the best I can do for now, do you mean like on a certain piece of the track? You say, like, this is the best I can do, and then you sort of scaffold on to another part, or do you just mean the track in general?
I mean the track in general.
Oh, okay.
Because of course the learning curve of producing music is huge. It takes
Sure.
years, and it doesn't happen like overnight. So with this track, I do the best adjustments as much as I can, and I try to get it sound as decent as I can. Um, and and right now I'm very, very lucky because here in Deventer, this is a small town. I found a local studio. We had a introduction week at my university, and there was one workshop in which you could go to the local studio, and I was apparently the only one who was interested. But there was this guy who had very, very top notch, very, very nice studio, very nice acoustic treatment and everything.
Oh wow.
And yeah, he said, "Okay, so are you producing or what? Are you producing tracks or what would you like to see?" And then I explained that, yeah, I make some tracks every now and then like, yeah, okay, you can bring your track here, we can listen to it here. And yeah, when you listen to your track with that kind of equipment, oh, sorry, my voice is going down. Excuse me. When you listen to your track with that kind of expensive acoustically treated room, you realize like, oh my god, I have so much to learn. But
Yeah.
that guy gives me very, very honest and good feedback on the production side. Not that much on the like creative sides,
Sure.
or because he's a sound engineer after all. So
Sure.
I think every artist should try to have his or her own unique thing. He gives some nice feedback about the quality, because in electronic dance music, the production quality needs to be also very, very good. It cannot be muddy. It's going to be played. Your tracks are going to be played very, very loud on those expensive club sound systems and everything. So he gives me nice feedback.
Sure. Sure. And what are you referencing on now? Do you have monitors? Do you have headphones?
Yeah. Well, right now I only have a, what is this? Audio Technica ATH50. Oh my god,
ATH M50s. That's what I'm wearing right now, man.
Yeah, these are very, very
I would
decent
recommend them.
and
Yeah, they're very nice.
yes. I also, in Finland, I have Adam Audio A5X monitors, but it was, again, when I moved here, I had to make sacrifices.
Sure.
Like, okay, what I bring with me and what I don't. But I found these. Actually, I bought these from Amsterdam, because in Amsterdam there are a couple of nice stores where you can pick up some production
Okay.
related stuff, and I found these here there, and yeah, I'm loving them so far.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I find them to be awesome. They're great for DJing. Great for producing.
Yes, exactly.
So let's say hypothetically that you weren't in the Netherlands and that you were back in your studio and you had access to all your gear.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you would add to it that you feel like could make the next step and like the biggest difference?
Ooh. I would try to acoustically treat my room.
Okay.
It's very, very important, in fact. But if that doesn't count, then I would like to buy a Access Virus TI.
Okay.
Because I would love to have some kind of hard synthesizer. I'm now working on 100% software, so I would like to have some knobs which
Sure.
I could program my presets with.
Sure.
And everything, my sound sets. And I would like to get a bigger screen because right now I'm working on with 13-inch MacBook
Okay. So
Pro.
you're just running off your laptop screen and that's it?
Yes, that's it.
Do you have any tips for managing your channels and stuff? I mean, 100 channels on 13 inches of a screen sounds
Yeah,
it sounds rough, man.
but the Seven Skies does it. Because he was also working on with only with a laptop, and he was also saying like, yeah, you had to really manage your
Really?
projects.
I did not know he was doing that. Wow.
But it's quite annoying because, for example, when I open my let's say silent, it takes the whole screen. So it's
Right.
oh,
Right.
I need to buy something
Okay.
for sure.
All right. Well, let's get to some questions that some people had specifically.
All right.
We had this question off Reddit. Where do you see trance going in the next couple of years? And specifically, do you see any difference in the productions or in the kinds of music, or even in the scene between sort of like America and Europe? So I guess that's like sort of a two-part question.
All right. I think trance, it's now divided by those people who like the new way, the slower BPMs, the a bit more housey feeling to it, and also those hardcore fans who still enjoy the uplifting ways, uplifting beats, and higher BPMs. I think it's going to go even more separate like that.
Yeah, just continue that trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now, I still see on Facebook some people are dissing, like
Sure.
mocking out, the other people, like, oh, listen to real trance.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah,
well,
I don't know how different the trance. I'd be curious, and I want to bring on some producers who are not as nearly, not involved in trance, because that's my interest. But I really personally find that trance fans are like the most snobby. That
yeah,
I mean, no offense to anybody out there, but geez, like just get over it. Like listen to the music. I mean,
I feel like, for example, when Anjunabeats is now uploading something on YouTube to their channel, there's always something that people will pick up.
Definitely.
If it's new stuff, they say like, "Oh my god, what is this?" Like someone, I think when Norin and Rad had the track "The Bird Is the Word," I love that. I love that track.
Yeah.
And then people were like, "What the fuck is this? Like, how can you do this?"
Yeah. Well, I said Anjunabeats. Yeah.
Yes. And then I think when Anjunabeats should release something more classical, with older type of trance, people would probably complain like, "Oh, why you don't make something new, something fresh? We already heard this." So
can't win.
Yeah, so I think people should just listen to what you want. Don't mock other people. Like, let them listen to whatever they want.
Sure.
But between America and Europe, I think Europe we have a lot of, I think people are very open-minded, and it's kind of even cool to be like a bit underground and to listen to some tracks like no one else knows about. And I'm not sure, because I've never been in America, but when I spoke with Super 8 with this subject, he said that he doesn't, when Super 8 and Dab, when they are DJing in America versus Europe, they say like, yeah, the only difference we feel right now is that the American crowd is even more enthusiastic.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Than European crowd. That's what he said to me when I was also curious, because the EDM boom is just going quite wild in US.
Do you think that that's something that's going to continue, or are you worried about sort of a bubble pop?
Yeah, I think it's going. Yeah, there's going to definitely be a bubble pop at some point, but not really. I think because people are getting interested with new genres and new stuffs, and people. Sure. There are a lot of producers who are very creative, much creative than I am, and they do something completely different, and then suddenly that is the new thing. So I'm not really worried about that it's going to be disappearing completely.
Right.
Especially now, I think it's even this weekend or next weekend, the Tomorrow World is in. I think it's this weekend, Tomorrow World.
You're right. It's September 27th to 29th in Georgia. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you also DJ then? So we had a question. What do you feel like is a track that you can play out that's just like sort of unstoppable? It never fails on the dance floor.
Ooh, that was a difficult question because every crowd is different.
Sure.
And I haven't been DJing that much.
Oh,
I'm
since you've been
actually
in the
just having my
Netherlands?
first
Okay.
audits. Yeah. Um, at least in my hometown,
Yeah.
where I where I used to DJ, there were some older Tiesto tracks which worked always.
That's kind of cool here. All right.
Yeah, and also some like Sunstorm and those classics because they have
Oh,
these
jeez.
they have these people relate to them differently, like Sunstorm, because it's so Finnish thing, and we're proud of it, I think.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And what's the best event you've ever played at?
Definitely the student party. Again, in my hometown, because I haven't been teaching that much, unfortunately. But I'm going to be teaching here in the Netherlands. The quite big events. I think that is going to be my highlight.
Okay.
But so far, it was definitely the May holidays. There was big events, and it was so loud, so packed. I did the craziest set of my life. People were
Awesome.
people were going crazy. Yeah.
Awesome. Good to hear. All right, 2 more questions, and we'll wrap it up. What's one thing that you wish that you would have done differently along the way?
Yeah, I definitely wished that I would have actually produced more and spent less time watching like tutorials or trying to promote my halfly done tracks to some labels, because I did that because I finished the track and then I spent like a lot of time trying to spam it to like all the labels, all of the labels, and to their emails, and I didn't actually produce. And I was waiting for the reply because when you send a track, you have to wait for like 2 weeks and see
Sure.
do they listen to it, and I didn't actually produce. So I wish I would have been even more productive than I'm now, and that I would have been more honest to myself, like be realistic with your tracks. Do you really think that you have the quality to really have successful
Sure.
commercial release?
Sure. Okay.
That's it.
No, that's. I think that's very fair. That's very reasonable, and I think that's valuable advice.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy when you feel so attached to your projects to want to see them go somewhere than besides back into a save folder on your computer. It's
exactly.
It's very tempting, even and if you just take like a couple days break, sometimes I just like open stuff up. I'm like, why did I like this so much?
Yes, happens to all of us, I think.
It does. It's okay. All right. So, where do you see your artist alias, your other side going? So, what is the future of Timo Vaittinen?
I hope I am getting more gigs, and I hope I keep producing more, and the quality of my productions is going uphill, like better and better and better. I try to improve that as much as I can.
Sure.
My music teacher said to me, like, every track in the world is a great track, but it's the way you produce it that determines is it good or bad. And that kind of stuck into me, and I agree, because you might have the best musical ideas ever, but if your production quality is poor, then no one is going to listen to it because it just sounds bad.
Sure, I like that. It's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
When's the next release that we can look forward to? When do you think? A month or less? Or?
Yeah, I think the next track is called Fictio. which is Finnish. It means fiction.
Okay.
We have 2 remixes. It's an American label, actually, Lifted Sounds Records.
Okay.
The promo month is October, I think. So I'm actually just waiting to get the actual mastered release to my email.
Okay, awesome.
And then it's gonna be released probably early November, I guess.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that, man.
Thank you very much. I try to keep the quality over quantity
Sure.
thing in my head, so we'll see. But
All right, man. Well,
hopefully this couple of releases and gigs that I have here have also they're helping me to get my name around.
good. Yeah, that's I think that's probably what it takes. So,
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you having you on the show.
Yes.
I'll be sure to include your info and the links. We're
Yeah,
now finally on
definitely.
YouTube as I think youtube.com/recompressededm. We got a Facebook /recompressed.
I also want to say that if like anyone has any questions, feel free to like. I am also on Reddit, and also on Facebook or Twitter. If you have any questions, you can feel free to send them to me. I can try to help you as much as possible
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
to get it to the top.
Yeah, right. All right, man. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Take care.
For
Have a good
listening.
one.
Yes.
All right, bye.